Hello, upper cervical doctors and students. Welcome back to the UCM podcast. I'm your host for today, Dr. Bill Davis, and my guest is Tony Hook. Tony,
Heyo.
what's up?
Good to be here again.
Yeah. So, Tony is our director of client success. He is passionate about upper cervical chiropractic and about helping upper cervical doctors win and have great practices and really great lives as well, right? Like just really, we love helping doctors to really thrive.
That's right. That's right. Making sure that all aspects are in alignment.
That's it. That's it, right? So speaking of alignment, right? So today we're going to be talking about a subject I think it's really important to look at as things change, right? Because we are in such a rapidly changing world. It's amazing, right? When we look back even 3 to 5 years, how much things have changed in just the last 3 to 5 years. And so looking at the patient journey, we're going to look at a 2025 patient journey. We're going to look at from awareness to lifetime care. How have things changed? And how do you need to be able to change with the way the world has changed so that you can more effectively connect with potential new patients and also keep your current patients engaged in this very distracting world that we live in, right? And so let's get into this. And really, the big idea here is that today's healthcare landscape has fundamentally shifted, right? Patients navigate a complex digital journey before ever stepping foot in your practice, right? So you need to understand this new reality it's a necessity. It's essential for your upper cervical practice to survive and grow, is to understand that patients, how they are interacting with you, is so much different. I mean, so much different than say 10 years ago, but even
Sure.
3 years ago, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen radical changes with AI in just the last 2-3 years that have dramatically impacted this patient journey, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and if here's the thing, if you don't keep up with it, you're in a place. Referrals always matter, right? Like that's always a win. But
Absolutely.
as far as people that just upper cervical care, maybe even chiropractic isn't even on their radar for what they're struggling with. And they're searching online. They're looking online. They're using their phones. They're using AI. They're using talk to text, voice searches and
Voice
stuff like
search.
that.
Yep.
And so, like, if we're not staying on top of that, your practice is actually going to age out. I was just talking with the doctor yesterday,
Mm.
who has been basically not online at all. It's super outdated, no marketing ever, kind of type thing, and he's losing patients because they're passing away. They're
Yeah.
actually literally aging out, and the practice getting smaller and smaller. So it's like, you know, we need to achieve our mission, serve people and have healthy practices, growing ones, and for longevity, we got to know how to best to connect to people from the get-go.
That's right. That's right. So let's get into this. This is, a lot to this. Obviously, to take a patient from they don't know anything about you to lifetime care, right? That's a process. And so, even if someone is referred into your practice, it's crucial that you have these certain things in place so that they don't get any catches in their in what they're thinking about. Like you want it to be all green lights, right? When someone tells anyone about your practice, you want it to be more and more trust builders all along the way until they step into your practice, and even after that, right? And so regardless if there's somebody who's cold coming off the internet, or if it's somebody who's coming from a referral, these principles are important regardless. Every single patient, we've got to build trust. And so let's talk about this new awareness stage. How patients discover practices has completely transformed, right? Even just like I said, last 3 to 5 years ago, the traditional discovery was most people are finding practices through Google searches, physician referrals, healthcare, healthcare networks. Now all that stuff is still important, right? People still are searching Google and still getting referrals from other doctors, but in this last 3 to 5 years, there has been a major shift towards multi-channel discovery, right? So now people don't just go to Google. In fact, I personally don't use Google near as much as I used to because
Yeah.
of just the more interactive nature of AI. For instance, I can use AI in a way that I used to use Google and get better results, right? And that's what a lot of people are doing. But they're not just doing that. They're also going through a variety of different channels. So not just AI channels with, say, ChatGPT and Perplexity and these different channels, even Google Gemini, Claude, these different AI channels, but also social media, right? The
Mhm.
different social media channels that are out there. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Reels, YouTube Reels, even podcasts, micro influencers. We're seeing this, even this in local areas where you get people who are have these social media followings, and they talk about someone within their world, right? Like they went and saw you, they saw you as a patient, and then they start telling people about you, and all of a sudden your practice is blowing up, right? These things happen now that didn't used to happen, right? This is a whole different world, this reality that we see in 2025. People are coming from all over the internet, right?
Yep, absolutely. And the key is being able to understand that it's continuing to evolve too, right? It's not just, oh, hey, well, I have a YouTube channel, I have social media. It's about having continued content, so you're everywhere. No matter which pathway they're coming to you. You want, and if you're hoping that, hey, I run some ads
Right.
on Facebook, let's say, okay, great, but what about everything else?
Right.
It's not.
What if they're not on Facebook,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Because lots of people aren't, right? And
Yep.
so it's being everywhere. It's being everywhere and being engaging everywhere, right? So that anytime people are searching anywhere online or engaging with you online, do they get a consistent
Mhm.
message? Do they get a consistent feel, a consistent building of trust? Is that what they're
Right.
seeing? Or is it, over here it's just crickets. There's nothing. Literally, they can't find you on wherever they frequent, like wherever they hang out. If you don't have any presence there, then you're missing out on that patient. And the other thing, like I said, is the AI driven recommendations, right? So with the rise of AI, ChatGPT specifically, but over a variety of different AI search engines, or aggregators and whatnot, different things that are pulling in from all these different sections. It's even more important to have solid reviews, right? Reviews have been important for 15 years, but you want to consistently get those reviews, because a lot of people now may not even visit a website, right? They're going to get all their information from an an
Mhm.
AI recommendation, or from a Google listing, or an Apple Maps, or
Yep.
wherever, right? They're getting that information on the front end, where they don't even may not even visit your website. And so having a strong review presence, that you're consistently getting reviews,
Mhm.
that your star rating is good and high, and you have reviews that come in
Yep.
every month, is huge.
And with the Google listings now, I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but when you go to the Google listing, there's an AI that's in there that will comb through all of the reviews that have been left, that have been typed, not just the star rating, but
Yeah.
actually left, and it'll say people say this and this and this about this place. And so you just can read the synopsis and go, okay, yeah, that's a place for me. Or
Yeah.
no, it's not a place for me. Like you said, they're not even going to the website.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and that's huge, right? Those keywords now that are built into even the AI within Google, right? So it's
Mhm.
all of this understanding of, man, we got to get all our ducks in the row, right? We got to get every single one of these areas consistently building up a presence and getting it stronger and stronger and stronger so that no matter where they go, they're going to get a great first impression of you and your practice. And so, here's an example. Like a recent patient found our practice not through referral, but by binge watching short form educational videos about their condition. They booked after seeing just 3 60-second clips, right? This is a common response. This is a common thing that happens, right? People are watching short videos, right? Like this is what people do all the time. They watch short videos. And so if your short videos are convincing and trust building and it speaks to them and their pain point, then they're more likely to convert and come into your practice, right? So the key takeaway: practices must be discoverable where patients are already consuming content, not just where we think they should be looking, right? That's the key. It's like, well, I got a presence here. Okay. Well, yeah, but what if there's people in 10 other places, right? What
Yeah,
about those places, right?
yeah, for sure. I was talking to a doctor saying, I hate Facebook, so I don't even want to do it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, it's not about. I mean, what's the purpose of doing this? Or I don't really care about my website. Well, is that a connecting point for people? I know that you don't care. You don't care about those
Right.
things, but what
That's right.
what if that's how a potential patient finds you? So
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's not about us. We have to remember we're in a service business, right? We're serving others. And so it's about what they want. Where are they looking, right? Because that's what matters. Hey, you know what? Maybe you don't like Facebook, maybe you don't like going on Facebook, but what if your target market is on Facebook, which they probably are, right?
yeah,
If you're looking to connect with 45 to 50-year-old women, that's where they are. You better have a strong presence on there, because you know what? That is the majority of upper cervical chiropractic patients, is that target market. And so, yeah, you better have a strong presence on Facebook. But it's not just Facebook, right? There's so many places where people are and different groups are. And so many, you got to have all these different areas dialed in. So I mentioned this already a bit, but building trust in 2025, it's so important to have these trust builders in place, right? So in today's digital first environment, trust building happens before patients ever contact your office, because that's the whole thing, right? If they don't see the right type of information on the front end, you're never even going to hear from them, right? That's the reality of the world we live in. People
yeah,
are going to research, they're going to look into things, they're going to see what's going on out there before they ever call your practice.
yeah,
And these types of research, this is it's a research heavy patient that you're interacting with today. Modern patients extensively research before booking appointments, right? What are they analyzing? Online reviews, star ratings, video testimonials, success stories, your social media presence and engagement, educational content and expertise demonstration, right? If they don't see things that make them believe that you can help them, then they're not going to even call you.
right. Yep.
And that's
It
it.
happened. It happened with me yesterday. I was looking for laser therapy near me for my
Yep.
knee.
Yeah.
And I went online. I started looking. I'm combing through people's websites, social media, obviously the reviews, their listings, and I'm looking for specific, buzzwords. And then I ruled out almost everybody except for two places. I called them both. One answered, so that's why I went with.
Wow.
And they were competent on the phone. So,
Yeah.
but it was that was my journey. And I would
That's
say
it.
this too, like things are continuing to move that direction where there's
Yep.
a more educated, patient, a potential patient, more educated buyer, for lack of a better word. And not everybody. Not everybody's gonna be like that, but it's increasing that percentage of people. So to be
Absolutely.
prepared is important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, even 10, 15 years ago, it was mostly the analyticals, right? That were like diving into research, and they're coming in with that, the like the oh, but they printed out the 5 pages from the internet that they read, and they bring it in like, oh, this is what I read. Can you help me with this?
Right.
But that's not that used to be the exception, but now that's become the rule. The rule is the patient is coming in researched with a basic understanding of what's going on with them, their the conditions they're struggling with, and how they think upper cervical can help them. And so that's why things like videos have become more and more important. Video trust signals, we call it, right, where you have doctor videos, right, doctor explainer videos, behind the scenes clinic tours, authentic patient success stories, right? These types of things build credibility faster than text alone. Most people aren't going to sit there and read a a wall of text on your phone. I mean, on their phone, on your website, right? But they'll watch a short video, and they'll watch another short video and another short video, right? It's
Yeah.
about that
It
video.
might be that nobody reads it.
Yes,
We're in a day and age where like, it's nobody's reading that.
that's right.
It's a
Yeah, I mean, and
turnoff.
we look at we can look at the analytics data, and we can see like, hey, no one's ever gone to this page on your website, right? Literally no
What?
one.
Yeah.
That page where you put 3,000 words about upper cervical chiropractic, nobody's reading it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you have
Mhm.
a really solid video that explains upper cervical or talks about how your personal life has been changed by upper cervical, and that's why you became an upper cervical chiropractor, that's going to be a powerful video that can be watched over and over and over and build trust through video.
Mhm.
And then also authentic social proof, right? Reviews, the authentic reviews, recency of those reviews, right? These things matter. It matters to Google's algorithm, how frequently you get reviews, how many reviews you have, if they're authentic, if they like you mentioned earlier, right? Is what are they saying in these reviews, right? Is it just like, yeah, doctor was great, right? Or is it talking about a life that's been changed? Because that's going to make a bigger impact when people are researching you. Fresh, detailed reviews carry more weight than hundreds of old ratings. That's also something to keep in mind,
Yeah.
right? If you haven't had a review in 3 years, that's not a good thing. It doesn't show that
Yep.
your practice is currently helping people.
Yep.
So the
Absolutely.
pro tip here is encourage patients to leave short video reviews rather than just star ratings, right? Video testimonials convert 3 times better than written reviews. So yes, leave reviews on Google, text reviews are great, but video testimonials are even better. So what about when you get them into the practice? Obviously they're in there, hopefully they've started care in the practice, and now you're starting to work on retaining them and moving them from, a new patient into a lifetime patient. What are some ways that we can keep patients engaged in the distracted world we live in, right? Because it's real easy to get distracted. It's real easy to be like, oh yeah, I remember I used to see that chiropractor. I forget their name. You know, I remember, or oh yeah, I need to go see somebody. What was the name of that? I don't even remember. I'm gonna just go see somebody else, right? How can you keep engaged? How can you keep connected with your patients uh, during this distracted world we live in? And so, keeping patients engaged from the first visit to lifetime care, right? So, how can we do that? How can we do that most effectively? Tony, what are some of the ways that you've seen that really work well when it comes to retaining patients and keeping them connected to what's going on in the office and with their own lives?
Right. Yeah. And so you can see there on the first part there is, the modern challenge, attention spans are shorter. That's it. That is for sure. And there's competition for patient loyalty, that's intensified. Traditional appointment reminders aren't enough. I don't know if you see, sometimes people aren't even checking this or that, they're not even paying attention. We get so used to the noise, so you just got all your attention. Your appointment reminders can be background noise almost to them. Not saying don't do them, but that is a challenge
Yeah,
that we're going to look at.
yeah, you should do them, but it's
Yeah,
probably not enough, right? Like, I mean, yeah,
right,
sending text reminders, email reminders, even reminder phone calls, these kinds of things.
yeah,
I mean, it's not like you don't want to do those, but they're not
right.
enough, right?
But it's yeah.
There's other ways you got to keep them engaged and connected.
As we're looking at that patient journey, right? To find you, to start care, to stay in care, get amazing results, refer that whole journey, right? It's really shepherding. How
Mhm.
do we shepherd these people through here? You need to have, consistent communication with them. Right, so that would be texts, that's gonna be part of it, emails, maybe as little as people read newsletters anymore, I'd still do them. But
Yeah,
those are pieces of the puzzle, right? It's just that you have an educational drip system that's working, right? And
right.
that's got health tips, and maybe you've got some, videos, helpful tips for videos and stretches and just practical day-to-day living stuff, that's educating them, talking about retracing, talking about holding is healing, talking about the importance of keeping your appointments, reminding them, reminding them of why, what's actually happening with the nervous system, those kinds of things, and having it be consistent. Posters up in the office, right?
Mhm.
So they see it, they read it, they hear it, you talk about it, your team knows about it, they talk about it, and so there's just this. They're inundated with, not overwhelmed, but there's lots of pathways for people to um, continue to grow in their understanding of what's actually happening.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, one of the things, we put in a few years ago to our systems is a new patient email
Yeah,
sequence, right? That
yeah,
that is
yeah,
there's so much for a patient to that you want a patient to get, right? You want them to
right,
get these basic concepts that are so crucial for them to understand why it's important for them to stay under care for the rest of their life. And you have to continually communicate these principles. They're all new principles to them, right? These aren't like, you can't say these things once, right? You have
yeah,
to consistently
mhm,
communicate these principles. It's every time they're in the office, they're getting a more in-depth understanding of upper cervical chiropractic and how it helps their body and their health. But then you're reinforcing that with email content. You're reinforcing that with newsletters. You're reinforcing that with targeted
mhm,
classes, right? This is another part of it, is building an in-office community, right? Are you doing things that will engage them at a bigger level, right? So it's
well,
not
and
just
that's
not just
hands-on.
in it. What's that?
And that's hands-on, right? Like,
Yeah.
because you don't wanna neglect, "Oh, hey, it's only digital." I've
Yes.
done that, I sent them information. I have information on my walls. No, we wanna also engage with them and, like, bring that personal touch, relationships building, where you've got I know you're getting ready to get into it, but, the patient appreciation days and those kinds of things, right? Where is a celebratory thing. And some of the greatest offices that are doing this, like, there's a feel to the office. There's a
Yes.
sense of family and community, and it's fun. It's connecting.
Exactly. And that's what people ultimately want. I mean, when they first come into the practice, their motivation is mostly, I want to get rid of whatever I'm struggling with,
Yeah,
right? They're they're
right,
they're trying to get a result. But once they get the result that they came there for, what's going to keep them there, right? What's going to keep them coming back is
right.
a place that they enjoy going, that they always have a great experience, that they leave feeling better than when they came, right? Not just physically, but just every way, mentally, emotionally, like they enjoy being in your office. Like they like it. They like it. They think it's fun. They like the people that work there. They like visiting the people. Like you know what I mean? It's like it has to be more than just, yeah, he I go there and he keeps my spine in line, right? It needs to be more than that. And so that's building that in-office community. It's hosting, health educational seminars or wellness events, or having patient appreciation gatherings, friends and family days, all these types of things. They deepen relationships beyond just, the clinical visits, right? Because you want to build the relationship between your CAs and you with the people that come into the practice, the people that you serve, because then they're more likely to also tell their friends about your clinic, because they love your clinic. They think it's great. They love going to the practice. They want to tell other people. They want to bring their friends and their family, everybody, to come there because it's a great place to go.
Yeah.
And then the last thing here is tracking engagement actively. So use patient engagement strategies and follow-up care plans to monitor and enhance patient involvement in their health journey, right? So after they get through their initial care plan, it's important to keep them understanding why they would continue to come in, and have specific wellness plans, maintenance plans, whatever you want to call it, so that they understand, okay, so this is why we're going to check you at this frequency now, and here's why, right? These types of understandings for them help, again, it reinforces everything you've been teaching them up to that point, that holding is healing, that if you stay in alignment, then you're going to be healthier, that we don't want to adjust you a million times. We want to adjust you as little as possible, but we need to make sure that you're staying in alignment, right? Reinforcing these concepts through care plans is an important part of retaining patients long-term.
Mm-hmm.
And so, an example of this is a practice that transforms casual first visit patients, right? These patients that are in and out after 6 visits, into long-term advocates by implementing personalized milestone check-ins, celebrating treatment anniversaries, and health improvements with customized messages, right? That's another part of it too. Like, like when you get somebody who's really engaged and is part of as a lifetime patient, you want to celebrate them, right? Celebrate their birthday, celebrate, hey, you've been a practice member for this long now. We're so thankful for you. Celebrate them being part of your family there in your clinic. And then the last part here is just having that lifetime care mindset, right? And it starts with you as a doctor, your own team. You all need to really understand why lifetime care is such a crucial part of a healthy lifestyle. And having that awareness within yourself, within your team, is the crucial first step. But then being able to communicate that to your patients, so that patients discover your practice. They're going to discover your practice through multiple digital touch points, that initial awareness phase. But then as you build trust with them through social proof and authentic content and confidence in your expertise, and you start showing them real results, then it's a matter of retaining them, right? That ongoing engagement creates lasting patient relationships. And that's when they are in that place of, yes, I'm not ever going to go, you want them to get to that place. I'm not ever going to go on in life without being in alignment. Like, I'm going to stay in alignment, right? When you get in that place, then you know that you've accomplished what you've set out to do, which is to really teach them what upper cervical care is all about.
Right. Right. It's not just that condition, right? It's not that symptom, and most of you watching this, listening, you, that's how you're wired,
That's right.
but the initial connecting point is a symptom. It is a condition typically, unless they are new to the area and they already had that lifetime care mindset.
Right.
But as you educate the trust and they understand, it's like, okay, now, oh, wow. Yeah. And then you're going to produce a person that gets it. We want as many people as possible to get it, and and live their best life and their whole
That's right.
family, right?
Yeah. And you want them to become advocates for your practice, right? Ultimately,
Yeah.
that's what it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they get it, then they're going to tell others, right? If they
Right.
know what you know, then they'll do what you do, and they'll also tell others that that they should do it too, right? Like, they can defend their decision consistently to others, right? When they're like, yeah, this is why I see, this is why I get, regularly checked and adjusted when necessary, is because it makes my body stronger, healthier, and more functional. and they can tell their family members that, they can tell their friends that they can tell their colleagues at work that, right? And why this matters: long-term patient retention generates 5 to 7 times more revenue than constantly chasing new patients, right? This is about a sustainable strategy for your practice and for your patients. It's more sustainable, and it's also more fulfilling for your team, right? Your team enjoys building relationships with people. You enjoy building relationships with people over the long term. And it's awesome to be able to see somebody, man, I've been taking care of this patient for 10 years, 15 years, 20
Sure.
years. I take care of this whole family. That is a blessing. That is such a blessing to be able to say that. And so, reframing your approach is the way to start this, is making sure that you get it. Think of upper cervical care as a journey, not a transaction, right? It's not just,
Mm-hmm.
hey, if you come in, then I'll adjust you and that headache will go away, right? If you think that way, then your patients are going to think that way, right? So you have to be thinking of it in the proper mind, with the proper mindset, because every interaction should build towards deeper patient relationships and better health outcomes for the long term. So the action step here, docs, is start mapping out your own patient journey. Identify where you might be losing patients between awareness and lifetime care, and then begin to tighten those gaps, because it's such a crucial part of upper cervical practice.
And think too, like if you go back a slide there, it's that going back to that word shepherding, right? So like if you have that shepherding mindset of like I'm shepherding them into wellness, you don't want people to stray. You want people to come into want them to come into the fold, and then you want them to stay there and not get distracted and wander off, and that they start to get it and all those different things. It's so much more rewarding. I was even talking to a client, I think it was last week. There was a person, there's a family that was coming. It was their daughter, and it had been taking care of her for years. She got excited about chiropractic care, and so she joins as a CA, is even more amped on it, goes into chiropractic college, graduating chiropractic college, and now is going to buy the practice. So
That's awesome.
you talk about that, man. You talk about, the shepherding aspect. I mean, you don't know whose life you're touching, man.
That's right.
It might just be a little thing here, but the reward of that is so key, man. And that's mission stuff right there,
That's
right?
awesome. Yeah, that's expanding the mission, right? That's bring hope and healing to sick and suffering people in an even bigger way than you can even imagine, right? When you start producing other upper cervical chiropractors through your clinic, right? I know,
that's the big idea, man.
that's it, man. And Dr. Robert Brooks, the legendary Dr. Robert Brooks, passed away now, but I know at one point he had over 100 upper cervical chiropractors who came through his practice, right? Like that he had taken care of his patients and went on to become upper cervical chiropractor. So that's an amazing legacy that he has. All those doctors that are still out there taking care of patients. And so your next step, doc, is number one, you got to be discoverable, right? As Tony just said, if you don't have a website, it's 2025. Come on, man. You got, how do you not have a website in 2025, right? So
that looks good.
Yeah, and have one that looks good, that looks professional, that looks like it was built, in this century. And so, meet patients where they are, where they consume content. It's not just about the website, right? Social media, video platforms, AI technology, educational resources. Having these things in place is crucial to be discoverable. And then from there, building trust, right? Making sure that you have strong social proof, video testimonials, consistent educational content. Do you have content out there that's related to the type of patients that you're taking care of and that you're helping them every day? You can build that credibility with them, and then engage long term. Create systems for ongoing patient communication, for community building, for milestone recognitions. Keep people engaged, keep people retained, and then you will have more and more lifetime care patients. The practices that survive in 2025 understand that patient acquisition is just the beginning, right? The real opportunity lies in nurturing those relationships into lifetime partnerships and improving their health. And so, Tony, how can we help doctors with this process?
Well, I think if anything here is you're kind of going, well, I'm not sure how I'm doing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd love to have somebody kind of, take a look at how I look online, reputation, presence, discoverability. Do I have any holes? Maybe take a look at my patient flow or my, patient education system or other systems. Hello, I can do that. I can do that. I might know somebody.
yeah,
So that would be a great first step is to schedule a time for us to chat and see, like, and if nothing else, you get some feedback on, okay, well, here's, half a dozen things that you can do this week,
yeah,
over the next couple of weeks that you can apply yourself. Maybe we have some services that help to take that off your plate. You don't have to do that, or we can equip your team to do it. The solutions are secondary, but first you got to find out what the problems are, where the disconnects are. And
right.
so that would be the first thing to do, I would say, is to get a hold of me and or us, and go, okay, hey, look, let's start here. Let's get an online assessment and see what's working and what isn't.
That's it. That's it. And we do those at no charge. Literally, you just go to the website, ucmgrow.com, schedule an appointment there, and we'll take a look. We're going to look at what's under the hood, right? We're going to take a look at the whole situation when it comes to your practice and how discoverable you are, what kind of trust builders you have, and and even look at your patient journey and how you're engaging with people long term. It really depends on your specific practice, your goals, and what you're struggling with and your challenges. And so go to ucmgrow.com and get that initial visit with us, talk with us, and get an understanding of how we can best help you. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. And as we always say, go team upper cervical.
Team upper cervical.